History made at Globe Life Field as the Rangers have their best homestand of the season. They close it in grand fashion. We've got the great news for Andrew Heaney and the rest of the Rangers as they hit the road. It's all coming up on the DLLS Rangers Podcast. Andrew Heaney gets the win. The first time he's gotten a victory since the 21st of July. John Radigan here with Abby Jones.
Hello.
Jeff Wilson will be joining us a little later on in the program from Globe Life Field. The Rangers beat the Angels today. 7-4 was the final. They finished the homestand 7-3. It is the first time in the history of Globe Life Field that the Rangers have had as many as 7 wins in a homestand. Of course, it opened in 2020. They've never had a 7 and whatever homestand. So a great day for Rangers baseball as we welcome you to the DLLS Rangers Podcast studios. You may hear noise going on in the background because our Cowboys, DLLS Cowboys crew, is here watching that team play. They're off to a good start, too. So a great day for, so far, the Cowboys and for sure, for the Rangers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hoping that momentum kind of carries through. But, yeah, we're keeping our eyes on the Cowboys game today, too.
Sure, absolutely. That's part of the process here. We're all sports on DLLS, and we want you to join us, and we want you to comment, and we want you to like us, and we want you to subscribe because, man, it's a really cool place to be. I promise you, sitting up there with our Cowboys crew, tons of fun. You'll find the same thing with our Mavs crew later, our Stars crew. We're going to cover all the sports. We're so glad to be a part of this sports landscape here in DFW. And I got to say, honestly, Abby, we joined and the Rangers got good. I'm just saying.
I'm going to agree with you.
We joined and they got good.
Is it 100% because of us?
Yes. I'm going to say
Can't
yes.
really say that,
Yeah, okay.
but
Yeah,
the
probably
good vibes, I think they feel them. And when we tell them to do something, they listen.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the first times that the Rangers have given Andrew Heaney some offense to work with. Let's talk about those 3 home runs to get this game going. This was the for Marcus Semien, bottom of the first pitch leadoff home run. That's his 6th leadoff home run this season. So Corey Seager's not in the lineup, but you still get your first pitch home run out of that guy. 30th career leadoff home run. And then Nathaniel Lowe.
Yeah, I mean, Lowe hit a bomb.
Oh,
that
he knew.
thing, oh my gosh.
He knew off the bat.
You know,
He knew
so
off the
yeah,
bat.
so you get Semien with a first pitch home run.
Yep.
Next hitter's Josh Smith. He doubles.
was nice.
Wyatt Langford hit the ball hard, but he was out 6-3. And then strikeout of Adolis. And then here came Nate, and he took
Two-run blast.
Oh my gosh, he blasted that thing about 20 rows up into the right field seats, and it was a shot. And suddenly Andrew Heaney had his coveted run support.
He had insurance in the first time.
It was 3-0.
In the first run since Lord knows how long. No, we joked about it. Sweet Dana on the Angels. He's 20 years old, so you feel a little bit for the guy, but I kind of said it looked like he was playing in the home run derby.
It looked like he was.
that
looks like he was pitching BP. Meantime,
Yeah.
that's what it looked like Andrew Heaney was pitching. He had just 3 earned runs. He was responsible for all 4. 3 of them were earned, only 1 walk and 8 strikeouts. That's huge. 96 pitches. He threw 54 of them for strikes. His high pitch total for the season is 100, so he was sneaking up on that. And in fact, his high pitch total for the season is exactly 100. It's just, and I don't know if this is why they ran him out there to start the 7th inning. I doubt that Boch or Andrew even knew, and doubt even less that they cared. But if he had gone 6 1/3 today, he would be at 1,000 innings in his career. Now,
and his 200th career start.
Yeah, that did happen. But the 1,000 innings is going to, right? And in the next start, it's going to happen, and then he's going to surpass it. So it's not like it's the end of a season and you wanted to end on an even number. I don't think it had anything to do with them sending him out in the 7th inning, but he did enter in the 7th inning. And again, he is not a guy who typically throughout this season has worked a third time through the lineup. Let's talk about his first time through that Angels lineup today. Strikeout, fly out to left.
Oh, it looked good.
Line out to left, strikeout, ground ball to the pitcher, which he threw over to the first baseman, strikeout. A pop out to the shortstop, a strikeout. That's 9 guys. 9 up, 9 down. We got a no-no, a perfect game through 3. Nobody's, thinking this is necessarily going to last, but it sure was a great run through that Angels batting order for the first time through.
Yeah, no doubt. And, an important thing to note going through the lineup, let's talk about the averages that the opponents are hitting when they're through the lineup. First time, they're hitting just 204. I mean, you love that. And then it bumps up a little bit. Second time through, it's 253. Third time, 315. So
right.
Bruce Bochy's well aware of that. He knows his strengths and weaknesses of his players. So smart decisions there. But with Andrew Heaney, that's one side of, he's looking to cross that 1,000th career inning pitched. But let's talk about Rangers history that we did not get to because our pregame show was so packed in David Robertson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's 20 away from top 10 in relief strikeouts.
Yeah. Last night when he got a strikeout, he passed K-Rod. I think
you've heard of the guy.
Yeah. I think you've heard of Francisco Rodriguez, K-Rod, and he passed him and moved into 11th place last night with a strikeout at 1,143. 2 more today, which leaves him exactly 20 out of tying for 10th, 21 from moving fully into the top 10 in strikeouts for a career as a reliever. It's something he definitely is keeping an eye on, and absolutely something that he'd like to accomplish. Remember, last person that he passed, Mariano Rivera.
Another guy maybe you've heard of.
Yeah, his teammate with
teammate.
the Yankees, and he said it. There's not very many records I'm going to take from Mariano Rivera, but he took, that spot. Number 12 in the order of strikeouts by relief pitchers, and he was very rightly very, very proud of that. So really nice to see Andrew Robertson succeeding. Kirby Yates comes in and he gets another.
He switched it up.
Yep, he gave another save for Kirby. So really, just a great game by the Rangers, and a great homestand by this Rangers team. And
Cowboys must have scored or something. Somebody let us know in the comments because we're doing this. But one thing I want to point out is bats are waking up, getting hot again. Let's talk about this homestand. Rangers are 7-3 this homestand against the Oakland A's. 11 runs, 26 hits. Against New York Yankees, 21 runs, 29 hits. I mean, those boys came to town. They wanted to put on a show. Versus LA, 17 runs, 30 hits. So this is kind of a nostalgic feel a little bit to the offense right here. I mean, how many games have we said, oh, this is just going to be another 1-run game that we're going to chalk up? But not right now. These bats are waking up. It may be a little bit too late, but better late than never, Rads? I don't know.
Absolutely. No, 100%, because we've always said, we said it at the beginning of the year, offense comes and goes. It just didn't arrive very quickly this year, right? We were always expecting, pitching is what it is, but offense, it comes and goes. Well, the pitchers, even despite injuries, were doing great at the beginning of the year. And the offense just never seemed to get on track.
Thank you for the Cowboys score, BC.
But it is, look at there, Zerks. Zeke's, I should say, first TD back. Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, we were curious how that was going to go. Man, these are the best fans, by the way, Dallas sports fans. Like, we're doing a Rangers show, and you guys are letting us know about the Cowboys game. I absolutely love this new job.
Yes, it's fantastic.
This is amazing.
And Ezekiel tonight, this afternoon, I should say, he had that other home run, that third home run for the Rangers. That was to lead off. Yeah, that's right. We got a couple of Zekes doing well today. That third home run led off the second inning, and that was followed by a single by Carson Kelly, and then he came home when Marcus Semien actually drove in 2 runs with another single in the top of the second inning, or bottom of the second inning. So it was really early onslaught offensively for the Rangers. The Angels chipped away and chipped away and chipped away, and then thankfully the Rangers had a couple of more runs left in them to be able to pull away 7-4. It got to 5-4 at one point, and you're a little concerned, but the pitching did its job. Jose Leclerc, also a pitcher in this game, and the Rangers get the victory 7-4. Really nice to see Zeke in a span here of batting .389, 7 out of 18 with a homer, 3 doubles, 5 RBIs, and 4 runs. And it's just a 5-game hit streak, but it's really nice to see him because, again, we knew that in September he was going to get more opportunity to play. Bruce Bochy said it. I want to see what everybody has. They know what Ezekiel had last year at the beginning of the year when he filled in for Corey Seager. He did great, but then he faded in the second half. This year, it's kind of the opposite in a way, as he is getting an opportunity now and making the most of it. Really nice to see that happen for Zeke.
Yeah, no doubt. We've talked about it. He's got a baby boy coming later in September, so maybe that dad strength is kicking in. I guess we'll see if it is for Dak today as well. Saw his baby girl was at the game. But let's talk about Andrew Heaney, too. I want to talk about his strikeouts. 8 for today, 4 on the fastball, 2 on the slider, 2 on changeup. And if you take a look at swings and misses, 14 and 45. Majority of those came on his fastball, 5 and 19. A few on the slider and a few on the changeup. So you're really seeing quite the one arsenal and then pitch distribution from Andrew Heaney. Yeah,
and that's Andrew, and it's really nice to see. There's no doubt about that. And he is, he has been. What's the word? The right attitude the whole season long, despite the lack of run support. He really hasn't whined. He didn't sue anybody for a lack of run support, right?
That's he made a joke of it, which I guess you got to laugh so you don't cry. That's always
the joke, and you have to. You have to. But Andrew Heaney has handled it extremely well, and today that his patience was paid off because he gets the victory, which is nice. As I mentioned, his first since July the 21st. And so, a nice way to close out the longest homestand of the year. And as we mentioned, not only the best of this year, but the most wins on a homestand in the history of Globe Life Field. So it's just awesome.
It had something to do with the roof open today?
Well, it's interesting. Their record with the roof open is now 3-4. That's just this year. It was the 7th time that the roof was open this year. They're 3-4 with that roof open, and so I don't know if it had anything to do it. Last time it was open, by the way, before yesterday, was the 17th of May, and that makes sense, right? It gets hot.
Yeah, we
quickly,
live in Texas,
and then it actually stays hot longer into September usually. So it's really nice that we had a couple of instances to open it during this homestand. And there's one more homestand left. Hopefully the weather will cooperate and there will be a chance to open it again. It sure looks fantastic, but they play so few with it open that the data is just such a small sample size. It's hard to tell if there is much of an effect. Does the ball carry better?
Runs were carrying today.
Well, and there's no doubt there were a couple of balls. Dave Valley talked about one of the balls, I think, that drove Adolis back to the wall. He says, off the bat, I didn't think that was going to get out, and then it looked like it would, and he went and got it. So, yeah.
I would say we could offer a Caden beer just to, cope with his loss. But
he's too young.
Kid's only 20.
He's only 20.
So maybe, December 17th, I think he turns 21.
Wow, that's amazing.
We can hand him one for the delay.
It's amazing because the young man did a nice job in his first outing. But look, this is the major leagues, and the Rangers were ready for him. They scouted him. They had a game plan, and they followed it to a T, including a first pitch home run from Marcus Semien. That is the way to start the game, right? That is the way you start a game, and that is the way you get a young pitcher, a 20-year-old pitcher, looking over his shoulder. He absolutely was. Home run, double, couple of outs, and then another home run. So, that's not the way anybody, certainly not a 20-year-old pitcher in his second major league start, wants to get things going. He didn't get anybody out in the second inning before they finally replaced him. and that was merciful by Ron Washington at that point to get him out. We've got lots more coming up as we continue to talk about the homestand. We're going to get to Jeff Wilson, who will join us from Globe Life Field, and we are going to talk with him, obviously, about what the reaction was, not only to the win today, but to the homestand.
Yeah, the homestand
again,
in
such a
general.
great homestand, and in some ways, a historic homestand. So we talk about all those things. We talk about the progress that several of the pitchers are making and how the rotation might look very soon. It might look how we all dreamed it would look.
Oh, yeah.
It might look that way very soon. So we'll talk about those things. Get you ready for the road trip, which goes to Arizona and Seattle. That's all coming up. But first, we want to remind you about Game Time, because for that final homestand of the season, tickets are going to be a little bit hard to come by. They had 31,000 again last night. It was a good crowd there today. So if you want to get a ticket, it's a super easy way to do it. Just go to Game Time, and they will have the ticket for you. And it's not just a ticket like a scalper's ticket, as we've said. It is, you have a chance to look at your seat.
Deal.
If there's a virtual view of where your seat is, you are not going to be taken for granted. You are not going to be taken advantage of. You are going to know exactly what you're getting. And as Abby has learned, you can do it almost at Game Time.
Oh, that's why it's called Game Time.
Yeah.
It's a game time decision.
Yeah.
To get a good seat.
She's gone to concerts like after she already heard the first song.
Yeah. When you wait that long, you're getting the best discount.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a little pro tip.
Yeah, there you go. $20 off your first purchase if you use the code DLLS. Terms do apply, but we encourage you to use Game Time.
And, I've never hired anybody, but if I did in my 27 years of age, I would go to Indeed. Do you want to know why? They are driven by research for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate is to not search at all. They just match you.
Yep.
And, it's like a relationship. Sometimes you just got to match. Sometimes what looks good on paper doesn't really work out, doesn't really look that good. This is going to take all that guesswork out of it. So it's going to match you. It's going to be like perfect match, if you will. So if you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work by using Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just hire faster. 93% of employers agreed Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. So we're the gift that keeps giving. We're going to give you a $75 sponsored job credit so that you can use it and, tell them that you got it from your favorite podcast. Just use your code. We're going to do Indeed.com/ALLCITY to redeem that offer. And guess what? In the minute that we've been talking about this, 23 new hires were made on Indeed.
That's fantastic. And what that credit does is it puts your candidate, out there. Your job is out there to the best candidates. It gives it a higher profile. So that's what you're striving for when you need to hire. You need Indeed.
No
That's
doubt
exactly
about that.
right. So we'll hear from Jeff Wilson in a few minutes. He's standing by at Globe Life Field as he gets some post-game reaction. Bruce Bochy, no doubt, feeling pretty good as they hit the road for Arizona. And then, this will be the first time they go back to Arizona since the World Series. Of course, they had a good series against the Arizona Diamondbacks when the Cardinals, when they were here. But now they get to go out there and face them again. And pretty juicy matchup. Yeah, how about that matchup?
It is. The last time that the Rangers were in Arizona to play this with Zach Gallen on the mound for the Diamondbacks and Nathan Eovaldi on the mound for the Rangers, we all know what happened.
Yeah.
It was November 1st, 2023. And
that's the result.
We came back with this.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the result.
And they gave one of these out today for Jonah Heim.
Also. And then there's still one coming on the 19th. I think it's the Josh Sborz. Yeah, which would be a cool one to have. That's the guy that closed out that game 5.
You know what? I asked him, I guess it was like in the winter, and I was like, Josh, have you thought about how many homes like your photograph is now in? And he was like, yeah, it's kind of the weirdest thing ever. Like I really don't want to be that recognized, but I'm like, Okay, well, if you're going to be recognized for anything, I think this would be the ideal thing. But man, also, we've talked about this. Like, how much do you feel for Leclerc too? Because like
Right.
he was kind of the true guy to be in that scenario. But hey, Bruce Bochy's going to go with a hot hand, and
Yeah.
that's why you love him.
Yeah. He knew what he needed to do, and he knew who needed to do it, and he did it. And
Hello,
now we
Jeff
welcome
Wilson.
Jeff Wilson
Look at that
into the
smile.
program. He's got a little smile working here as the Rangers finish the homestand, as we mentioned, 7-3. They're 10-3 in their last 13 games, by far the best stretch of 13 games they've had all season. And Jeff, you may not have seen, this is the only time in the history of the Globe Life Field that the Rangers have had as many as 7 wins in a homestand. So it's the best homestand in Globe Life Field history.
Thanks to DLLS
Yeah.
Rangers Podcast.
Sure.
Probably. We definitely get an assist, but don't underestimate the A's series. Those are some good wins. The A's are a good ball club. They've been playing really, really well here, and then the Yankees are the Yankees, and then the Angels are not very good. But so you do what you're supposed to do against a team like that. And the Rangers, came out today, scored a bunch of runs. I don't know if you guys caught Andrew Heaney's post game, but it was really funny.
What did he say?
He was talking about how, the run support, he got it early. He said, I was probably hopping up and down on the dugout, but he said, it's not like these guys have been meeting and saying, hey, Heaney's pitching, let's not score today. They're out there trying for him, but today it just finally worked out. And, then they took a nap for a few innings there offensively, allowed the Angels to get back in it. And then Travis Jankowski, nice little knock there for the veteran guy. And but again, a good homestand, day off tomorrow, and then try to take some of that momentum, where they hadn't done well on the road, but they've done well, as you were just talking about, in Arizona, obviously, the last time they were there. So, should maybe they walk back in there and something else clicks, but right now they're playing well.
They are. And, when you look at the way this game started, Jeff, you just felt so good about, again, first pitch. You always feel good about a first pitch home run to your leadoff hitter, Marcus Semien. But then, they kept the pressure on this youngster. And that's a wise way to approach a guy like that. They were clearly ready for him. And it looked to me like they kind of had him looking over his shoulder pretty quickly.
Yeah. And it wasn't that he got a quick hook. I think Wash gave him some rope there, but you load the bases in the fifth or the second inning with no outs, it's just not working. And that almost came back to bite the Rangers not scoring in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like the Dana was throwing too many strikes. It just seemed like at one point I looked at the scoreboard and it was like 14 pitches and he'd only thrown 2 balls, but that's great. You can throw a lot of strikes, but they got to be quality strikes. It's like, this isn't Little League anymore. You can't just pump them down the middle and expect to get out. So I think that maybe his command might have been off a little bit for him. Whatever it was, the Rangers took advantage, and fortunately it was enough to withstand the little 3-run homer there by Charles LeBlanc, who was the Rangers' 4th round pick in 2016, and then overcome that Wyatt Langford error, dropping that fly ball. But can't complain. Now they get to go on the flight to Phoenix, get to Arizona, have a nice night off. A night off before a day off is usually party time for ball players. So they're gonna maybe let loose a little bit tonight and be ready to go.
Yeah,
they better take those Z-biotics.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just pulled up Caden's little chart and all over the board today.
Yeah. He was a bit overwhelmed in his second major league start after a pretty good debut. Interesting too, Jeff. I think that they decided, and they usually decide these things fairly well in advance, but to go spend that off day in Phoenix, where it's going to be 110 tomorrow, and it's going to be freaking beautiful here,
Yeah, this started, and it started before the pandemic, and I think there was a movement where the players didn't want to take part of their off day to travel.
Yeah.
And so they go right from the ballpark. They're in their new city that night. They have a whole day to, I don't know, adjust to the time zone, find a good place to eat, whatever it is you want to do. I mean, they've been to these places so many times. I don't know why it matters, but it really it started fairly consistently, because I remember talking to Shin-Soo Choo about it, and then but I don't know. Hopefully, early tea times. I don't know if they're going to get out tomorrow, but 110 doesn't sound very inviting. But especially after what a beautiful day today, and here with the roof open, which I generally am opposed to, just getting out and getting to the next city. That's just kind of been the trend here lately.
The Rangers improved to 3-4 this year with the roof open. Of course, that means they were 1-4, before May 17th with it open. There are so few days typically in a season that we play with the roof open. Is there enough data for us to have a sense yet of who it might benefit to have the roof open, or does it just totally depend on the wind?
It's generally the thinking since 2020, even in 2020 when it was 60 games, and I really think they only opened the roof like 2 times.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they did some wind tunnel studies or whatever it was that they did, but the thinking was that it slightly benefits the hitters. The ball travels like 6 feet further. Now if the wind is blowing in, I don't know if the wind would ever blow in. I guess it would if it's coming from the north, but I just don't think there's enough data. I mean, seven games with the roof open, right? I mean, we might get a couple on the next homestand, but it's that's a tiny number. I thought it might be a little bit more than that, but I don't know if that was the intention when they built the ballpark. But I love the roof. I think all ballparks should have roofs. I'd take the elements out completely, start on time, and be finished. Sounds like the Cowboys might have done something.
Yeah, they must have done something well up there. Yeah, we got our Cowboys crew in here.
Roof, there was so much wind yesterday, Jeff. I know you were you were watching DeGrom yesterday.
No, I was just off yesterday.
Oh, okay, just an off day.
I was tending to my spousal duties.
All right, being a dad. But I was sitting at the game, and literally my papers were flying everywhere, and I've never had that when the roof was open. So I'm gonna say wind affects it more than you think it would.
Yeah, they opened the roof for one of the World Series games in 2020, and it was cold and windy, and stuff was just flying everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of how it was yesterday.
So that's primarily why I don't like the roof open, because it's an inconvenience to me. And that's really what matters.
You know what I thought about? Who would be like your most, maybe in the chat, let us know, who would be like your most favorite person to sit by with on the plane? If you were, taking the road trip, and then probably least. I'm curious. I'm wondering.
There won't be a least, will there?
Some guys, I don't know.
Yeah. No. Okay.
What if somebody snores? You don't want to be next
somebody
to snore.
snores or.
Yeah, true.
But let us know in the chat who you would want to sit by ideally on a little Rangers road trip. And did you guys know that baseball players travel 40,000 miles in a season?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And there are some that travel more than that, I promise you. Seattle.
Yeah. No, that's like the base. That's like the base.
Yeah, the base is $40,000. Seattle's got to travel a lot more than that, as they take every road trip from, the other side of the world. Jeff, let's talk a little bit about the this road trip and the fact that they've got Arizona and Seattle. I mean, we continued to and still do talk about the 7 games left with Seattle, and 7 left with Seattle when you're only 4 games under 500 now, and you're sneaking up on them in the standings. I mean, in some ways, in fact, the Cowboys crew, as we were watching up there, were asking me, Are the Rangers now a legitimate playoff contender? I don't really think so, I told them, but they can keep this up. They'll feel good about themselves.
It's over.
Yeah.
Okay. Arizona's good. All right. Arizona is a good team fighting for the playoffs. They have good pitching. Their starters. This is pretty interesting. Their starters and Seattle starters, for that matter, they have multiple fastballs. And so they have fastballs that move one way and then another way. and then one, like a cutter, it's a little slower and moves like a slider. So that makes them tough to hit. You guys remember the names from those great games in the postseason. Zach Gallen in Game 5, Merrill Kelly beat the Rangers in Game 2. So these guys can pitch. Arizona can pitch. Seattle can pitch. All those names that we've seen over and over again. Logan Gilbert seems to just own the Rangers. George Kirby, Brian Wu. I'm probably leaving some guys out, but so the Rangers are going to have their hands full, okay, with pitching. But they know that, and I think maybe the Arizona series will help bleed over into the Seattle series in terms of reading the fastball and hitting the fastball. But I think that the Rangers genuinely will have some good vibes going into Chase Field in Arizona, and maybe that'll trigger something. Seattle's just been tough for them the last however many years it is, but only 4 games below 500, only 3 games behind the Mariners. I really think that second place is attainable here. I think 500 is attainable, but they have to play well on this road trip. And if they get DeGrom back and Scherzer back, there's reason to believe that they will. So it'll be interesting to see. And then they'll get a day to rest. They haven't had a day off in a while since that rain out in Chicago. So I think that things are kind of trending the right way for our boys. I think it's too little too late, but things are trending the right way.
Yeah, Abby noticed that tomorrow's game, or rather Tuesday's game, is the exact same pitching matchup from Game 5. It's, Nathan Eovaldi against Zach Gallen. So that's a pretty juicy rematch right there. And more little juicy rematches and things like that coming up your way in just a minute. But first, Abby wants to tell you how to get better at fantasy football.
Well, Cowboys are up 20-3. Just learned that.
Yeah.
But if you think that you know ball, we are calling all ball knowers. This has been known for hosting fantasy football, but now you can test your knowledge with all sports. So you can pick your favorite or least favorite, and you can do a little over-under situation.
Yes.
So, if you wanted to take a look and see what the Cowboys were going to do today, I didn't check it out before the game, but what do you think about Dak just got paid, so what would you have for his over?
So you could go in there and say, let me think, will Zeke be the leading rusher for the Cowboys today, or will it be Rico Dowdle, right? Or you could go in there and say, will Nathan Eovaldi have more strikeouts on Tuesday night than Zach Gallen, right? These are the kind of wagers that you can place on something like Sleeper, and that's what's really fun because, even if this Cowboys point spread thing is now blown, to shreds, but there's still plenty of betting to be done.
Yeah, it's like my favorite card game, Spades.
Yeah.
Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
Because you can win for going nil.
Okay.
So I like that. Pick your favorite or your least favorite. The more that you combine, the more that you win. You can win up to 100 times your money. If you think that you have what it takes, download the Sleeper app. Use the code DLLS Rangers to get up to $100 matched on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. So check out Sleeper today.
Texas being one of them. And here's some really good news for fans of DLLS. That is, our gear is almost here. Woo. Very soon you will see us wearing DLLS gear.
Did you pick out
proudly.
Your free shirt?
And there's more to pick out, too. Did you see the latest email? We got stuff coming, and we're going to model it. She's probably the best model.
Oh, no, Rads. No, I want.
But,
you're teeing that up. You get it.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to model it here, and then you're going to want it. So why wait? Get it now. Order it now. It's going to be soon in arriving at your house. T-shirts, hats are coming, sweatshirts. Weather like we've had lately, who doesn't want a hoodie? Especially a hoodie, a little tie-dye hoodie with Nux on there. That's our mascot, and it's because he's a knucklehead, and that's what we call him, Nux.
Is he like your brother?
Yeah. So anyway, get that merch. It's really fun. It's really good, and it's not expensive. It's really very high quality.
Very cute.
Yeah. So there you see, store.allcitynetwork.com. That's where you go to get the merchandise that you're going to want. You're going to feel FOMO, right? You're going to feel FOMO if you don't get it. Your fear of missing out, fear of being left out, FOLO. right?
FOLO. Look
Get
at
it.
you coming up with all
Get that gear.
all
How
the
about that,
terms.
huh? All these acronyms.
You know who has FOMO?
Tell me.
The Arizona Diamondbacks when we won the World Series.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I pulled up the Evo stat line and Gallon stat line from
Okay.
Game 5. Do we
Yeah.
want to take a walk down memory
Oh,
lane?
remember
Oh, yeah, I like walking.
Didn't the Rangers weren't they no hit into the 6th?
No hit through 6.
Through 6.
See, our encyclopedia.
Corey Seager got a little bleeder through the left side through the shift, and ended up scoring a run on a Mitch Garver single. So it was 1-0 going to the 9th, and then. But Gallon was fantastic. I mean, he just dominated that game, and Arizona had runners on every inning except one, I think, and Eovaldi wiggled out. It was a total gut check pitching performance. It was only 6 innings, I know, but my God, it was ballsy.
Yeah.
Eovaldi went 6, 4 hits, no earned runs, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, and then Gallon 6 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was a phenomenal pitcher's duel, and it had. I mean, and that's one of the things that made it such a great game. Yeah. It had you, on the edge of your seat the entire game. It was really, really a fun game to watch, especially if you wanted the Rangers to win, Jeff.
When you see a guy that has 5 walks, but no runs. You kind of need to look at it and be like, he probably pitched around a couple guys. The one thing that Mike Maddox has always said, and Greg said it was reinforcing that special of his, is you got to know where to find your outs. You got to know where the outs are, and sometimes the outs aren't right there, and you got a base open. It could be first and third with 2 outs. You don't want to pitch to this guy. All right, you got a base open. Walk the guy and get the next guy. And he's Eovaldi's veteran enough. He might have done that, but it was just a great performance to keep Arizona from ever scoring against him. I mean, and nobody in the press box, nobody wanted that series to go back to Texas. All the writers were rooting for a Rangers win, and you get back to Texas, it's 3-2. Maybe they have a little life. They'd have Kelly pitching again in Game 6. So
let's not go down that road.
It was a big pitching performance. So just gritty, just tough. It was like the ultimate competitor in that situation. And I just can't get over it. I still to this day, and not like it's been a long time, but it's still one of the better pitching performances I've seen, even though it was only 6 innings.
Yeah. And Nathan Eovaldi, I think he's going to go out and shut it down, like lights out, because I was telling you when we were, getting ready to go into the clubhouse the other day, he was with the painter, and he finally got like his family portrait of him at Chase Field holding the trophy with his kids and his wife. So that was like yesterday. So it's maybe a walk down memory lane, getting him ready for the matchup. I mean, the timing is pretty planned or unplanned, like coincidence.
Worked out pretty well. They hope the Otterstadt finished that painting just in time to give it to just before the road trip and the trip to Arizona. That's pretty special.
So my money's on Evo.
Yeah, I'll take that. I like that. And you could probably do that through Sleeper, couldn't you? If you wanted. I'm just saying if you were so inclined, to do that. So Jeff, let's talk about the mental effect that all of these pitchers potentially coming back might have, right? You've got you've got lighter back and pitching well, right? You've got, which is the future, certainly. You've got DeGrom now ready to come back, and it looks like Scherzer is ready to come back. And it feels to me like that kind of influx of pitching talent permeates, right? It hits the whole clubhouse. Everybody feels better about this team as a team because they know they've got that.
Yeah, and they're not going to be throwing 7 innings, 9 innings. No, they're going to be throwing 3 innings, 4 innings, but they're going to be really, really good innings. So that'll give you a chance, and you might have to rely on the bullpens a little bit more. All right, you're kind of built for that with the length that you have with a guy like Jose Urena. Garabito, Pennington, I guess Chase Anderson, who is a big Cowboys fan. He's from Wichita Falls, went to Rider High School up there. So there's ways to maneuver around this. And then, if the Rangers go to a 6-man rotation to accommodate Scherzer and DeGrom, or whether, let's say, they make, they know that DeGrom's only going to throw 4 innings on his debut. Well, that leaves 5 innings for Jack Leiter, let's say, to come in and work as a long reliever, but with a much longer leash than a normal bullpen guy would have. So there are ways to do it. But to your point, you're getting 5 Cy Young awards back into your rotation, and yeah, Scherzer's 40 and DeGrom's coming off of Tommy John surgery, but what they did in their rehab starts last night, that just shows you something. And I know they're major league pitchers and these are double and triple A hitters, but those hitters had no chance. All right, they had no chance. These guys were out for blood and competing and throwing their best stuff and trying to get ready for the final 3 weeks of the season. So they're gonna get outs. They're gonna be good, and the Rangers are gonna have a chance in those games.
Yeah, and we heard a report today about maybe the door isn't 100% closed on Rocker.
Yeah, well, I guess yesterday, again, I wasn't there, but Bruce Bochy had said that the door is pretty much closed. And I guess that the Morning News talked to Chris Young, and he said, nah, it's open. And Bruce Bochy said, yeah, it's always open, but he also was kind of like, yeah, but, I don't know. But, the AAA season ends with 1 week left in the Major League season. So maybe it's a possibility that Rocker would come up. I would expect him to come up and just hang out with the team, just get around the ballpark, get to know these guys a little bit better. Let Mike Maddox take a look at you, maybe throw a bullpen for Maddox and Brett Hayes, the bullpen coach, even Bruce Bochy, let Bruce take a look at you. But I don't know. I just don't see the need for it. I don't think there's.
Yeah, I mean, Bochy said that he likes his development, staying where he's at.
Yeah, there's no rush. Now if the Rangers, I know this is a scenario I proposed on our show and that I proposed actually to Chris Young. If the Rangers get within striking distance here of a playoff spot, and you want your 13, 14 best pitchers, and Kumar Rocker's one of them, then you go get them. All right. And so that's a scenario where I could see it happening. But again, at 8.5 entering the day in the West, 7.5 in the wild card with a pile of teams to climb over, it seems like a long shot. But I don't see it happening. I really don't. Like everybody wanted Wyatt Langford last year, kind of a similar situation, and it didn't happen. So I just think that the Rangers are open to it, but I think it would take a unique set of circumstances.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the wise way. I think that's erring on the side of caution with a guy who's coming off of that surgery, right? You have to exercise a certain amount of caution unless you absolutely need him, as you're saying, to make it into the playoffs, or if you need him for a postseason run.
Sure, and like we've talked about, it's such a significant difference pitching at a AAA ballpark.
Yeah.
And pitching in a major league ballpark and facing major league hitters where every pitch matters. Like you have to have the maximum effort on every pitch. As Jack Leiter talked about yesterday after he gave up the leadoff homer, there's no easy pitches in a major league game. And so do you want to do that to a guy who, while he looks like could knock down a brick wall and looks strong and is throwing hard and dominating, what effect is that going to have on him? The adrenaline, the moment, and then is he going to try to do more? Is there going to be more strain? Why mess with it? Why even mess with it?
Yeah, and I want to talk to Kumar Rocker one day about rehabbing with Jacob deGrom. I mean, Bruce Bochy shared that they're on like a similar timeline, but to be around a veteran of that resume and stature, and he he will be a Hall of Famer one day, to just be around that guy, train with him, lift with him, work out with him, all those things. I bet that his mental game is going to, I mean, he's got to be like 10 years ahead of the curve now, spending almost a little bit over a year with Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, it seems like he's got that in him anyway, right?
Yeah.
He's got that mental approach.
Mamba mentality.
In him. Yeah, there you go. That's the way to say it.
Tyler Henderson just left the comment about Blaine Krim, and I think that call-up is possible too. I don't know how we're doing on time here before our next ad reads, but I could see that happening because the geography could play a role in this, because the AAA team is in Las Vegas and the Rangers are headed west. So why make a guy travel home and then go back out? And hey, if they want to call Rocker, same thing. They're right there. They could drive to Phoenix, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
but
Blaine had anyway, 2 home runs last night too.
Well, he's batting like .370 since July 1st. 2 home run game last night, an RBI double. First baseman. The hitting coaches love his swing. He is older. He's not a young prospect. He's 28, right. 27, 28, and they don't have a ton of money invested into him. So that's kind of what's holding him back at this point. It's like, is it a good financial consideration? Do you need to see other guys? Well, look, if the guy's going to help you win,
right,
then you call him up. If you got to know if this guy's going to help you, you call him up and see what happens.
And provide offense too, because that's one thing Justin Foscue hasn't done as of late.
No.
And Bruce Bochy's expressed concerns there. He thought he'd do more.
Yep, and you were right, Jeff. We're getting up against this read, but we will come back and talk about a little bit more about that and how to utilize these prospects, and also that drive for 81. How will this last, 20 games of the season look? We're going to talk about all that. But first, we want you to become a diehard. Please do that for us. Will you become a diehard? This is the way for you to be sort of in the game with us. We want you to be one of our best friends, one of the people, like I Love Misty and like Scooper and like CJ, who are always chatting during the show. We love that, and we want you to be a part of that too. And the best way to do it is to become a diehard. You pay $79.99 for a year membership as a diehard, but guess what? When you do that, you get a free T-shirt. So that's $35. You've already taken the thing down to about a $45 membership for the year, and for your $45,
you know what that is?
You get so much.
That's like 2 Whataburgers at the field.
At Globe Life Field. That's right. So, and you get so much. You get 20% off of merchandise. So any other merchandise that you want to buy after that, you get 20% off. You get 20% off the events that we're going to do. Now, one of the things we are going to work diligently on during the off season is to do an event where you get to go with us to spring training. And you don't think we'd be able to give you a front row seat and a really cool time at spring training? We will. So it's not set yet, but we're working on it. That's the kind of thing we hope you to be a part of as a diehard. So do it, please. Go become a diehard and join us at various events, various watch parties, and things like that.
I love it. I want to get an event going as soon as possible.
Yeah, me too.
Feel like we've
maybe winter meetings. We'll do something.
Winter meeting. They are here in Dallas.
Yeah.
They are here in Dallas. I think my dad's going to fly out and hopefully join our show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
That could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about merchandise because we have a lot of it. And if you have friends in Denver and Phoenix and Philadelphia and Chicago and Dallas, you can give the gift of ultimate sports fandom, which is a pretty good gift in my mind.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. Flowers die.
Oh, yeah.
T-shirts live forever.
Absolutely.
So to me, invest your money in something that's going to last, like these T-shirts. They're great quality. They're super comfortable. I have checked out a few that I want. That I love my Texas Chew shirt for the baseball field. I also kind of do like that one on the bottom left, the Die Hard. Just seems very baseball-y to me.
Yeah, it does.
But
love the color.
Yeah, you can go to store.allcitynetwork.com, and that's going to have every single location and their shirts. So if you know somebody that's a Bears fan, somebody that is a Nuggets fan, the list kind of goes on. And we should phone a friend for the Phoenix series.
Yes, that's a
Was
great
thinking
point.
about
We'll have
that.
to do that. We've got to connect with our group at PHNX, and pretty soon everybody will recognize. When it's the city without any vowels, that's us, right? That's all city. So PHNX, CHGO, PHLLY, and then DNVR, and obviously DLLS.
I didn't know it was without the vowels. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's no vowels. It's just no vowels. Yeah.
This blonde is real.
Yeah.
But we could talk baseball.
Yeah.
Anything else, I'm
That's
trash.
exactly right. So anyway, and by the way, about T-shirts lasting forever, if I'd have known that my Aerosmith and Fog Hat and, Crosby, Stills and Young T-shirts that I had legit went to their concerts in the 70s would be so popular, not even among
Should've
people
bought
your age, right? People younger than
7
you.
million.
I see these kids
Yeah.
kids are in their teens and they're wearing an Aerosmith T-shirt. I'm like,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
It's a cool thing.
It is.
Apparently.
I
but
should have saved them. Could have sold them.
could've-
Jeff, you probably don't go all the way back to like Aerosmith, but I mean in their first run.
Not 70s.
What year was
Aerosmith.
that?
No.
Yeah,
What year was that?
70s. 70. My first
Okay.
concert was 75, Aerosmith, Fog Hat, and Ted Nugent.
Man,
How about
That's a-
that?
Sounds
big one.
good.
That was great, especially in Detroit. You got
Oh,
the
that's a
Motor
good-
City
that's a good one
Madman
in
in there.
Detroit.
Come on. And actually, I say Detroit, it was in the Pontiac Silverdome.
There you go.
oh my God,
Yeah.
man, oh
Yeah.
man, what a decrepit building that's become.
Oh,
Is it
it's
still
terrible.
standing?
Yeah, it's
Oh, my
gone.
God.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was for a while there. I remember seeing a story. They went inside it after it had closed. I don't know how many years after it had closed, and it was frightening. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it had to
Yeah.
be scary. It was scary when it was scary at its peak. I was there. We had to go cover it early in my career when that roof collapsed in the snow that year. So, yeah, that place was amazing.
I think I'm
Yeah.
scared to say what my first concert was because I don't align with it
It's okay.
anymore.
You can say it.
It was Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's
boy.
okay.
I'm not a Swiftie.
You're not.
No.
Okay,
Well,
well,
And
that's all right.
when did you do it?
I think I was like 10. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But
She's not that old.
Huh?
You were a little
Yeah.
older. I don't know.
I think it
I
was
don't
like 10.
Yeah, so remember, she started at 17, Taylor, right? Or younger.
Yeah, it was.
So, yeah,
she
was
she
around then.
16,
Yeah.
but I
My
don't
first
I don't
concert was
align
Janet
with that
Jackson.
anymore.
What was yours?
What was yours?
Janet Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I went with my sister
Yeah.
in
Okay.
89. I think it was 89. 88,
Okay.
89.
Okay. Yeah. That's a pretty good one. Yeah. I never did see any of the Jacksons. I wish I had. But so there you go. That's concert talk that just kind of grew out of nothing as we they continue to wrap up a good homestand. No, a great homestand for the Rangers, 7-3, and it's the most wins they've ever gotten at Globe Life Field. That's fantastic. They hit the road now. When we came on the air some 13, 14 days ago, I think it was, Jeff said, let's do it. Let's go drive for 81. And I got to admit, Jeff, at that point, it seemed
We thought you were delusional.
fairly unrealistic, And the next thing you know, they just keep winning series. This is their 4th series win in a row. They just keep winning series. And if you do that, suddenly you're only 4 games under 500. This is very attainable now.
They have to go 11-7. That's how it goes. Simple math. Even I could figure this one out. And like 7 games against the Mariners, who are not great. We just talked about how good Arizona is, but there's a chance here. There really is. And
So you're saying there's a
small
chance.
small victories, right? And this would be a small one, but a victory nonetheless. But the whole goal, remember, is that the Rangers want to finish strong. And I tell you what, it'd be pretty convincing. A month like that, a September like this, where they're able to rally and get into position to be either in second place or above 500. Yeah, it's definitely doable. They have games against Arizona, then they play the Mariners, then they play the Blue Jays at home, Mariners,
A's.
Oakland, who's good, and then the Angels to finish. So there's opportunity there. There really is. That A series is going to be interesting because it's going to be the last one at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
They might be extra fired up. I don't know. They are playing well. We just saw that last weekend, how good that team is, and their record since the All-Star break speaks to it as well. So, hey, we'll see what happens. But Marcus Semien said it, Bruce Bochy said it, and Andrew Heaney said it. This is the best the Rangers have played all year, and Chris Young has, since things kind of started to hit the fan, he has always said we haven't played our best baseball. Well, you might be seeing the Rangers playing their best baseball this season right now. And if it continues, 81 wins is a distinct possibility.
Yeah, and they rolled the dice, Chris Young, speaking of CY, he rolled the dice that this was going to happen when they had a pretty decent little stretch there just before the trade deadline, right? Yeah. They got to within 2 or 3 games, I think, at that point of 500, and it's like, okay, here we go. Now what's happening now is going to happen. Unfortunately, the schedule in the second half, dictated that wasn't going to be easy, and in this case, wasn't going to be possible. But everybody kind of felt like something like this was going to happen at some point in the year.
And side note, I just thought about it, but the 4 consecutive series wins is more than the Rangers had prior to that, first winning series than they had from the All-Star break when we started the show, because they only had 2, maybe 3 from All-Star break until August 26th. So, good time to get hot.
Yep, it really is. And they've officially gotten hot, as obviously the Cowboys remain hot. If you hear the noise in the background, one of the things we love about our new studios here at DLLS and at ALLCITY. So, Jeff, with regard to this last 18 games now, I guess. I know every team is different, but we talk about them finishing strong. Is there in your experience, in your past with teams, is there an ancillary effect toward next year? Or is this just feeling, finishing strong to feel good about the way you finished?
Well, I'll go back to 2009 when the Rangers were pretty good. They finished 12 games above 500. The Angels were really good that year. Ended up putting the Rangers away the last week of the season, and I think that momentum, what the Rangers did that season as a whole, carried into 2010, gave them a lot of confidence that next year could be their year with a few additions, a few not subtractions, but they added Colby Lewis in the offseason. CJ Wilson was turned into a starting pitcher and became this really, really good starting pitcher. And they made a couple other minor moves, like they signed Darren Oliver, and that kind of helped with the bullpen too, especially with CJ, who was a reliever going into the rotation. So I think that a strong finish helps the players believe. It helps the front office believes. It helps ownership believe that we're not that far away. Let's go ahead and even if resources are limited, let's go ahead and get a couple pieces here. So I think it's a big deal. I mean, if they tank and go 2-16, you're gonna wonder. But I think that this club is trending the right way. It's professional ball players. I think they know what they need to work on at this point in the offseason. Like Adolis Garcia's got to make his bat quicker. He's got to shorten his swing. Justin Foscue, if he's going to be the first baseman next year or on the team, he needs to get his bat in the strike zone a little bit longer. Marcus Semien needs to be a little more consistent. Corey Seager needs to figure out a way to stay off the injured list like he did his first season. Leody Taveras needs to figure out how to hit left-handers. There's just a lot of things that this team knows it has to work on, things that didn't happen this year. And then there are the free agency things like Nathan Eovaldi, that and Kirby Yates, 1 and 1A, if you will. I think that those two guys coming back would be tremendous, and anything beyond that, whatever happens in free agency would not really matter if you get those two guys back. But there'll be little signings, backup catcher probably, some relievers, but nothing that's going to break the bank. But those two guys need to be on the team next year to help continue this momentum. If you go into the camp with those guys, if you go into camp with a rotation of Eovaldi, DeGrom, let's say Rocker, Leiter, Bradford, would you take that? Would that win you some ball games?
All day,
every day. Do you want a veteran? Do you want to sign a veteran? Do you want to take a 1-year flyer on Max Scherzer if it's cheap enough. And then you don't have to rush Rocker or Leiter. Not sure, but this is a big stretch for the Rangers, and not just the players. I think it has an impact on the front office as well.
Jeff, we've got to wrap up, but real quick, any update on Seager?
No, I haven't seen him. I saw him Friday and I said, "Have you been to the doctor yet?" He said, "I'll let you know when I have been." So I don't know that doctors work on Saturdays and Sundays. So, but maybe. I mean, it is Corey Seager. Maybe they could find some time for him. But he's not limping or anything. He's walking around the team. It's not like he's on crutches right now. So I don't know. Maybe rest is the best prescription at this point. But you would hope that maybe he can sneak in and see a doctor tomorrow. The guy who did his hernia surgery was Phoenix-based, so maybe he's just waiting on that. Although I would think that you can find a hip specialist here in town.
All right, so that is going to wrap it up for today. Rangers off tomorrow, and we are too. We're on at 2:00 basically every day, Tuesday through Friday, and one of those at least will be a pregame show for the getaway day in Arizona. The others will be our normal hour-long Rangers DLLS podcast. So we hope you will be here for each and every one of those. I know we will be, and we appreciate Jeff joining us with his thoughts and his insight from the game. And for Abby and for Jeff and for Elijah, our great producer, I'm John Radigan. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you Tuesday.
And Cowboys get a win. Let's go.
DLLS Rangers podcast. Go.
We all silly like the mayor.